This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Welcome to PSN Newsrun. Our top stories for today. 198 local governments advised to relocate by NEMA, and controversial mourning. Nigerians mourn with Ghana putting aside xenophobic concerns. 198 local governments, 31 states. That's the grim forecast as Nigeria braces for a new wave of devastating floods, with the federal government sounding the alarm. Marianne is here with details.
The National Emergency Management Agency, in collaboration with the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, has issued an urgent warning about severe flooding expectations between August and October. Coastal and riverine communities are most at risk, particularly in states like Lagos, Rivers, Bayelsa, Kogi, Benue, and parts of the Northwest. Experts warn that poor drainage, blocked waterways, and climate change are worsening the situation. Already, several communities are seeing rising water levels, washed out roads, and early signals of displacement. Farmers and market women in low-lying areas are being urged to relocate as food security and transportation network faces potential disruption. The federal government is urging states to activate their emergency response team while humanitarian agencies prepare for potential evacuation. As flood threats intensify, the message is clear. Early warnings must lead to early actions, or thousands could face disaster in the weeks ahead. Marianne Awia, PS News.
The EFCC has launched a massive raid in Ogun State, arresting 55 suspected internet fraudsters and seizing firearms, raising fresh concerns about the growing link between cybercrime and armed criminal networks. Let's join Teza for details.
A massive sting operation in Ogun State has exposed a troubling intersection between cybercrime and armed criminal activity. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested 55 suspected internet fraudsters, and what they uncovered goes far beyond laptops and phones. The early morning raid took place at a hotel in Ilaro, Ogun State. Acting on intelligence reports, EFCC operatives from the Ibadan Zonal Command stormed the premises and apprehended 55 young men suspected to be involved in online fraud, commonly referred to as Yahoo Yahoo. But this was no ordinary cybercrime bust. During the search, operatives also recovered 2 dangerous firearms, raising concerns that some of the suspects may be linked to broader criminal networks involving violence and organized crime. Among the items seized were dozens of smartphones, laptops, and exotic cars often used as tools or spoils in romance scams, identity theft, and phishing operations targeting victims both locally and internationally. Preliminary investigations showed that many of the suspects had already been under EFCC surveillance for weeks, with digital footprints connecting them to fraudulent activities across platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, and email. The EFCC says all suspects will be charged to court after investigations are concluded, and forensic analysis of their devices are ongoing. This raid underscores a rising trend where internet fraudsters are arming themselves, turning what used to be a soft white-collar crime into a potential national security threat. Authorities are now calling on hoteliers to carry out stricter identity checks and report suspicious guests to law enforcement. Teza Phillips, PS News.
Nigeria mourns the Ghana helicopter crash that claimed top officials' lives, deepening emotions just days after renewed xenophobic tensions between both nations. Joycelyn takes us on this analysis.
A tragedy in Ghana has sent shockwaves across West Africa as nations mourn the lives lost in a fatal helicopter crash. Nigeria finds itself in a moment of reflection caught between grief and recent tensions. The helicopter crash, which occurred in the eastern region of Ghana, claimed the lives of several high-ranking Ghanaian officials and crew members. While investigations are ongoing, authorities believe poor weather may have contributed to the fatal incident. In Nigeria, reactions have poured in from the presidency, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and ordinary citizens, expressing deep condolences to Ghana and the families affected. Social media has also become a space of shared sorrow, with the hashtags Ghana Crash and hashtag West Africa Mourns trending on X, formerly known as Twitter. But the crash comes at a complicated time. Just days ago, Nigerians were venting outrage over reports of xenophobic attacks and discrimination targeted at Nigerian traders and residents in parts of Ghana. Hashtags like Say No to Xenophobia and hashtag Ghana Must Explain had dominated conversations, reopening old wounds between the two nations. Now, in the face of tragedy, that anger has softened, at least momentarily. Influencers and public commentators are urging unity over division, reminding citizens of shared history, bloodlines, and regional solidarity. Most of the comments on social media by Nigerians read, "We may have our differences, but pain doesn't know borders. Today, we stand with Ghana." As funeral plans begin and investigations continue, the helicopter crash has become more than just a national tragedy for Ghana. It's a moment of collective mourning and healing for both nations. African nations are hoping this shared grief can ease diplomatic tensions in the long term. But today, Nigeria is choosing compassion over conflict. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
From a major shakeup in the Premier League's LGBTQ+ stance to Donald Trump's golf game being called out and big names on the move in the transfer market, here's your latest sports roundup. Sam is on the sports desk.
The Premier League has officially ended its 8-year partnership with LGBTQ+ charity Stonewall, bringing the Rainbow Laces initiative to a close. The decision came after discussions with all 20 clubs' captains. While the league will no longer support the campaign in its current form, it plans to launch its own LGBTQ+ inclusion initiative in February to align with the LGBTQ+ History Month. Despite the split, players will still be permitted to take the knee, continuing the league's broader support for equality and anti-discrimination. Veteran sport writer Rick Riley has once again taken aim at Donald Trump's golfing credibility. In response to a video Trump posted claiming he has won 36 club championships, Riley, author of Commander-in-Chief, How Golf Explains Trump called out the former US president for exaggerating his record. Riley's viral post pointed out inconsistency in Trump's claims, suggesting the actual number of verified wins remains at 0, accusing Trump of inflating his reputation on the course. The Manchester United winger Alexander Garnacho has reportedly agreed personal terms with Chelsea. Talks are now progressing to agree on the transfer fee. Manchester United has reached a deal with RB Leipzig for the striker Benjamin Sesko. Is expected to undergo a medical and sign a 5-year contract. Saudi club Al Masra has opened negotiations to sign Bayern Munich Kingsley Coman. He is currently their top target for the winger's role. This is Samuel Akpan for PS News.
Russia has officially presented its most direct conditions yet to end the war in Ukraine. But with demands that Kyiv sees as a call for surrender, the proposal is raising more alarm than optimism. Let's hear Joycelyn on this.
After over 3 years of devastating war, Russia has finally laid out its clearest terms yet to end the conflict in Ukraine. But critics say the demand sounds more like ultimatums than peace offers. In a bold and controversial announcement, the Kremlin has listed specific conditions it says must be met for any ceasefire or peace talks to begin. At the top of Russia's list, Ukraine must renounce its bid to join NATO, recognize Russia's control over Crimea and 4 eastern regions, withdraw all Ukrainian troops from territories claimed by Moscow. President Vladimir Putin claims these terms would guarantee long-term regional stability, but Kyiv and its Western allies see them as demands for surrender. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky immediately rejected the proposal, calling it a smokescreen for continued aggression. NATO leaders also dismissed the condition, saying Ukraine's sovereignty is non-negotiable and that Russia cannot dictate peace through force. The international community is divided. Some developing nations are urging dialogue, while most Western countries say meaningful peace must start with a full Russian withdrawal from occupied Ukrainian territories. As Ukraine gears up for more Western military aid and Russia tightens its grip on the East, hopes for a quick resolution remain distant. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.